Good morning, fellow adventurers. Today, 4 of 4, our fourth installment on relationships. And this time I'm going to address the devastation that can result when one goes south. Let me also share with you what I've already shared, that if you're in a relationship that's about to end, that maybe you want to end, maybe you desperately want to cling to, I want you to understand, first and foremost, if it's coming from you, the yearning for separation, there's absolutely nothing unspiritual about breaking up, about uncoupling, about divorce, you name it. Everything is happening inside the heart of God. And as long as you do it, as is true with all other things, with integrity, with authenticity, with transparency, with honesty, if you're the one wanting to grow a different way, then do it while covering all of your bases and all of your responsibilities with children and the like, and you can live happily ever after. On the other hand, I know from firsthand experience what it can feel like when we have over-identified ourselves with regards to a relationship, when we have unknowingly let there have accumulated an imbalance in our life that is suddenly brought to our attention when the other party wants to move the other way. The point that I would really like to hit, the word I really want to register for you right now, even if you're in a relationship and you're learning and growing and learning and growing, so often through questions posed to me by audience members, it becomes readily apparent that there is this over-identification with their partner, as if their partner was an appendage of theirs. And if their partner doesn't do this or does too much of that, it's on them. It's like, look, you wanted there to be differences. You complement each other. Don't over-identify. If they go off the deep end, if they're into an addiction, if they're into unemployment, this is not you. And nobody thinks that it is you. But if you're so overly identified, then all of a sudden, every mood shift that this other person takes, every decision is going to turn your life upside down. There must be space. Now, to move forward into this devastation, I'll tell you, it was the dark night of my soul. Everything in my life unraveled, including my relationship. And to make things even worse, I found out that there was a third party involved. My girlfriend had a boyfriend. You've heard me tell that story, and it wasn't me. It was the most sickening time I can recall, where I would be on this roller coaster every single day. And I noticed something, and please be a witness to your own reactions, to your own obsessions. I would all of a sudden be in the depths of despair because it was extremely clear that this was over and done. And my world would be caving in. I couldn't eat. I was nauseous. I couldn't sleep. I hated myself. I hated life. I wondered if I'd ever be happy. I mean, everything was awful. And then the next day, I'd get a phone call, some contrition, an apology. The call would end. Hope would be restored. I'd be on this uptick. And I couldn't even believe that 24 hours ago, I was in such a place of devastation. It's like, God, how did I lose my balance so much? But I had, made clear by this one single phone call. And now that I'm better, 24 hours later, anger, animosity, it's not on the mend. Things are going down fast. It's over. Total despair. And I'd be like, wait a minute. You saw how irrational that was a day ago, Mike. You had your bearings. Balance was restored. And now the depths of despair, it showed me, to my shock and amazement, how susceptible we are to our chosen, believed in perceptions. And I remember just thinking, like, Mike, this relationship has taken your entire life hostage. Again, I was over-identified with it. It was truly irrational behavior. And I was able to see that, and you can see it too, in the middle of the commotion and the roller coaster ride. That didn't change the devastation. That didn't make me feel any better. But at least I had an insider's look inside of my mind, witnessing what was going on, realizing that if I could change my perception, no matter what the other person was doing, I would be able to emerge from this. I recognized it was irrational. You must do the same. I recognized that I was pinning all future happiness on this person's whims, desires, and changing moods. I recognized the imbalance that I was placing on this relationship, making it the be-all and end-all of my present moment, colorizing my past view and my future perspectives. And with that, and you've got to do this for yourself. It's not easy, and it doesn't seem to help. Introspection. I started journaling. I started writing questions like Neil Donald Walsh would write to God. It's like, why do I feel so much pain? Why do I feel so utterly helpless? Why do I feel life is so utterly hopeless? Why have I lost any sense of one day being happy again? I literally wondered if I would ever be happy again, because this went on for 3 weeks of total devastation. I lost almost 20 pounds. And if you've ever seen me, I don't have 20 pounds to lose. I couldn't eat. I was sick. It was sheer hell because I wasn't seeing the truth. And so I would write answers. Well, I don't love myself. Is that true or not? I don't know, but I wrote it down. I have a imbalanced relationship with my parents. True or not? I don't know. But do it. It will seem to make no sense and be utterly useless. Okay, I'm telling you now, the journaling in devastation seems to take you nowhere. But as the weeks peeled by, and I was able to examine myself a little more healthy, with a little more balance, as I continued to work on other areas of my life, which seemed impossible, I wrote the first chapter of the audio program, Infinite Possibilities, The Art of Living Your Dreams, in this funk. And I remember thinking, I don't know how I'm doing this. But it was like another part of your body takes over. Lesson to make here is do stuff anyway, to the best of your ability. And you will surprise yourself that you're able to emerge from this funk and shine, even though emotionally you feel utterly wiped out. And so that audio program ended up being a huge bestseller on the internet. As a book, it became a New York Times bestseller. And the whole first chapter, I'm losing weight by the day. So you will astound yourself. I was continuing to journal, but I was removing myself from that funk, from that imbalance, imperceptibly, so that I could rightly see that I am of God, by God, pure God, that I am here to rock and roll, and that my fortunes and happiness do not hinge on the fickle behavior of somebody else. And ultimately, I remember, I will be honest, it was almost a year before I really felt happy again. And it was during that entire year, I thought, I don't know that I will ever be happy again. I remember thinking, I don't know if I'll ever go on a date again. I don't know if I'll ever fall in love again. This is the delusion you're putting yourself through when you're going through the devastation. And you probably know that, and it doesn't help. It still hurts. But by having that little speck of consciousness within you that says, this isn't right, this is not who I am meant for greater things, I will be happy again, even though you don't believe it, the light will begin to shine. And within a year, do you know what I thought about that relationship? Do you know what I thought looking back? I thought, thank God that relationship ended. Thank God I was able to find balance. I didn't know I was so out of balance until this whole thing blew up. And had it not blown up, I would have continued to live a lie in that relationship. I would have continued to be a pawn to somebody else's whims. I would have never found my power. And now I look back and it's like I escaped with my life. Oh, I dated again. I had fun again. I laughed again. I fell in love again. I was loved again. I don't care your age. I was 40 and I thought that was old. Now I'm 60, almost. I'm 59. And I know better. I know better. And I say I know better. Well, let's see if life ever puts it. Let's see if my adventure ever surprises me. But I have learned to go within. I have learned to be grounded in truth. I know that I'm here for better things. And when an issue shows up, you will be grateful for it later on. It's not going to make it easy. It might be a year before you're out of the woods, but give it time. Do your part. Do your best. If you need to grieve, it's okay. You can grieve. But there's so much more waiting for you. You are so lovable. You have so much love to give. And if you're breathing, game is on. So see the delusion, stop tricking yourself, ride out the emotion, and be ready for the best of your life. You will be so grateful that the chapter ended and a new one began. Okay, everybody, I'll see you tomorrow for another spiritual tune-up. Tally ho!